We're going. We're going. Well, I assume we're going. Again, here we are.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Sam.
I'm just going to check that we've got... we are actually live and kicking, man. It says we're streaming on Facebook, so I'm going to make the assumption that we are.
We are.
Yeah. Sweet. Hello, everybody. It is us. Lisa and Sam. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a good week.
How's your week been?
Fine.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, do you know what? Actually, my week so far has literally been back-to-back coaching, which is awesome.
That is awesome. I am trying to navigate two screens. Sorry, I'm not present. Sorry. I'm trying to figure out how I can see comments and who's watching.
Leave it to me.
I will.
Leave it to me. All right, guys. So we're going to jump straight into this one. And hi, Lisa. Not you, Lisa. There's another Lisa. Lisa Drew's on. I'm just saying hello. I'm surrounded by Lisas. What's going on? It's too much for me. I can't handle it. You still can't see it, can you?
I didn't see Sam Wilder's watching. I'm surrounded by Sam.
I can just see you guys.
I give up.
So we're going to very quickly talk about this evening and really get into this because, well, actually, this was my fault, this conversation, because it came off the back of tons of conversations we've had recently about where do people need to start? And we're going to say this over and over again until people really, really hear it. And we're going to talk about what is the first thing, if you're a coach, a new coach especially, or a coach that's struggled to create clients, what's the very first thing that you need to do to start creating clients or leads or conversations, right? Because it's really easy to be at the beginning of a journey and look to where you've got to go and all the steps in between. And it very quickly becomes overwhelming. And that's when we're susceptible then to someone saying, hey, listen, if you do this, you can make 10 grand this month. It's really easy. And you can do it in just 2 hours. It's easy. And then you're going to sit on a beach somewhere. And we're really susceptible to falling for that. So without sounding really cynical, by the way, but it's fair, right?
Yeah, well, actually what was going on in my head is it's so easy to fall for that. And as coaches, we're naturally curious, right? And that's the app as well, this curiosity piece. We work on that. We develop ourselves to bring that out of us more. Yet, I remember it being such an exciting time when I was first starting out that I was probably not curious enough when opportunity came my way, when it looked kind of glossy and exciting. I think I forgot about getting curious and I was like, I'm in.
Shiny object.
I'm in, this is going to be awesome. So I kind of just forgot about that whole curiosity piece. And I didn't ask questions like, when I fell down the digital marketing path about 4 or 5 months into my journey, and I didn't ask any questions around like, who are the types of people that you work with? What's their starting point? So that would have been a really good question. Like, the people who you're telling me earn 10K months every single month since working with you for 2 hours, right? It's like, what did they start with? What was their network like already? What were their income levels already reaching? Like, were they already starting at 7.5K and you've actually added 2.5K, or were they starting at 0? Had they ever done coaching before? So I kind of just didn't ask any of those questions. It didn't occur to me to ask them because I was excited and wanted to get going. And it's interesting that came up. One of the other topics you were talking about, maybe sharing, was slowing down to speed up. And that's a brilliant example of slow down, Lisa, slow down. Because I wouldn't have then spent the next 4 months or however long it was going into learning Facebook ads and all the rest of it. So that's just what popped into my head as you were talking there. But I've not really told them what the first step is. So,
well, I think that it kind of is in a way, isn't it? That's like the pre-step. It's like preparing to step, because it is, isn't it? It's like just stop for a second, just slow down, take a breath. And the first step that we were talking about was ultimately, and it seems crazy now when I think about it, but I used to do so much stuff to create leads and to create conversations so I could coach and maybe have some clients. And I mean, literally, like we know, right? Websites, marketing, Facebook ads, all that sort of stuff, which if you like doing it and it works and it's useful, cool, nothing against that. But more often than not, if not almost always, it's not useful when you're first starting out. And it's like, I felt like I was, like I said to you before, like running around an athletics track, like around and around and around, when I could have just literally cut straight across the middle and gone straight to source. And when I started to see that, I was surrounded by people who I could make that first step with, which was just inviting people or connecting for a start, like having some connections, but we're going to go a little bit further than that. Inviting people into a conversation. Like if the first thing we do is first thing we're wanting to do is create leads to have conversation, simply inviting somebody into a coaching session, whether it's even somebody really close to you, a friend, a family member, somebody on a broader scale, whoever, somebody who you want to coach, which can feel scary. We get that, but that's just part and parcel of it. Watch our last video last week about fear if you want to know a bit more about that. But the most important thing to say here is that this isn't with a view to create a client. It's with a view to coach, to have conversation and serve, because as a byproduct, we create clients. And again, just very beginnings. Okay. And what happened to me this week, and this happened a lot in coaching so far, Lisa, and I know it has for you too. But I had a conversation with someone about 3 weeks ago, and it's literally just, I knew I could help her out. So let's just get on the phone. Let's just have a chat now. It just turned out we both had half an hour. We had this cool conversation. It really helped her out just to have somebody to kind of hear her and bounce back and forth with. And today I got a message from her saying, like, I've got this friend who I think would really love to have a conversation. How do we put you in touch? And it's that, for me, that's like the key to coaching, to creating coaching practice, is if we are willing to just invite people in, have a cool conversation to see if it's helpful, our business grows. And then there are more steps to it, obviously. We can cover that another time, but the crux of starting, the first steps, is that invitation. For me, anyway.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. That's how I've grown my business. I mean, I remember the very first thing that I did was hire a coach. That is honestly, the very first step that I took was, I'm interested in doing this. I want to learn from the best. So I invested. And within a few weeks, we'd put a post out together on Facebook that said, I'm looking for practice clients. And within an hour, I had 40 people asked to work with me, which is insane. Like we took 10 minutes creating that post. And within an hour, I had 40 requests to work with me. Mm-hmm. Now, that was practice clients. So that wasn't paying clients. But what Sam is pointing to is forget the intention, forget the attachment, like drop the outcome needing to look a certain way. Because what happened with those practice clients was I chose 5 and I worked with those 5 practice clients. One of them I'm still working with today, right? She's not free. I'm not charging her nothing anymore. Like, she's been a paying client now for almost 3 years. And out of those other 35 clients, practice client requests, I wrote back to them and said, all the free spaces have gone, but I'm willing to coach at a reduced fee if you're interested. Here's what's on offer. And I messaged each one individually. And I can't remember how many now. I can't remember if it was 5 people came back and worked with me. So that was how I created my first 5 paying clients. Like one post on Facebook inviting people into a conversation with me. Yeah. Connecting and serving the people who were in front of me. And then writing back individually with a personal message to the other people who an hour before hadn't been in my world at all. Writing back to them and offering them something, asking them something. And that's how it started. Like, that is truly how it started. And since then, those people have referred people to me. Like, some of those are the 35. They're probably still in my network somewhere on Facebook. Who knows if they'll ever reach out? Who knows? They might see something, a video that I've made, a post that I've shared, something that's landed. Like, the truth is, the impact is infinite.
Yeah.
The ripple effect is infinite. But we get so obsessed as a new coach that this is the conversation that needs to create this particular client. And we get so focused, and we can, I know I did this, can be kind of needy. Yeah. And it's like, that was a really uncomfortable feeling for me. So I experienced that and was like, no, I don't want to be a needy coach at all. So what do I need to do to take myself away from being a needy coach? But it was so much easier when I learned to get present, keep inviting, just consistently inviting people into conversation, not being afraid. It's a good shout to watch the fear video for sure. And we're going to speak a lot more about that in future videos too. I'm sure we will. But yeah, it's really simple. Sam and I are both simple.
I can definitely testify to me being simple. I'm not so sure about you.
Simple and simpler.
Maybe Thumb and Thumb need to make an appearance.
Come back, yeah. But yeah, I'd love to say, like, we have this really complicated, complex system where we can just absolutely blow your brains with how intricate and detailed it is. But it isn't like that. It really is as simple as choosing someone, finding someone, putting yourself out there that you want to connect with, connecting with them, inviting them into conversation, coaching them, and seeing what.
Yeah, and exactly that. And that's, even now, Lisa, like, we know, both 4 years in, full time, have been now for 4 years. I mean, into my 4th year. I know you've been doing your coaching for as long, and that's how our businesses have grown, right? That's how even up to now, and it's only now where we're starting to think about marketing stuff and scaling, because we're kind of capacitated out in our own practices to a certain degree. I know, give or take, but it's getting yourself from zero to, well, almost wherever you like to be, wherever you want to be, is so possible just with that process. And it's just, like we said, it's just super passionate about showing people that it doesn't have to be hard and difficult and a mystery. It can be really wonderfully simple.
Yeah, it really can. And there's so many other topics that we can talk about. There is so much more that we can throw into the mix. Like, what we're giving you here is the skeleton, kind of the practical steps on how to, I suppose. But the real juice that I got from my coaching was seeing what service was, deepening my grounding, deepening my listening, deepening my impact, and not pushing through the fear. I don't mean that at all. It wasn't a push through, but it's like the fear kind of dissolved in some way, or the fear just didn't feel as gripping or as powerful over me. And it was all of that stuff thrown into the mix that made that contributes to client creation, right? Because you can do the how-to, you can keep inviting people in. If you're not having impactful conversations, if you're not showing up where you're present or listening, if you're like one eye on what's next, then you're not going to have the results that you want. It's going to be a lot harder to get referrals. It's going to be a lot harder to get repeat custom. It's going to be a lot harder to get people to say yes. So again, that points to slowing down, to speeding up as well. Like, this isn't, it kind of is a numbers game. Like, if you ask enough people, you'll get what you want. But it's also, I want to point you to, it doesn't have to be relentless. Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? Doesn't have to be volume.
No.
It can be smaller quantities of conversation and connections that are done in a more powerful way.
Yeah, it's like Yeah, exactly that. And I think this, well, the most important thing about what you said is that it's, about being a numbers game. Like, it appears as if it's a numbers game, because obviously the more conversations I have, the more likely I am, the more invitations I make, the more likely I am to create clients, right? That is what it appears to be. But when you look a little bit closer, and this is where I think having coaching really comes in for me, and I know you'll agree, it's like, that is what it appears to be. But actually, when you really delve into it, it's service. It's actually giving a shit and wanting to serve people. And from that, yes, it looks like a numbers game, but it just becomes about service, and the numbers then grow. And when that happens, and the real source and fundamental reason that you're doing this is because of serving people, then the money follows. Like, the money is a byproduct, it's a symptom. You can't avoid that, and further down the road, you can have coaching to help you work out the proposals, all that kind of stuff, find the practical stuff. But ultimately, like, we know, if somebody is new into this industry, and if we can show them that the most important thing is dropping that outcome and really serving and almost taking the responsibility away from yourself and just getting really curious and having fun with it, then the rest kind of follows, right? It doesn't have to be heavy and hard and difficult and a mystery.
Yeah, that was a learning for me too. I was super serious about my business, and I remember being in like coaching school, and everyone had to say a word that was relevant for you. Like, they had to give you kind of not a label, but they had to write down words, and serious came up so often for me, and it was like, oh man. But at the time I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I am serious. I am serious about my business. I am doing this. This is going to grow. Are you not serious? Yeah. And I couldn't understand that there was a different way. And it just, like, years on now, it's so much more fun to be in it. Like, if I hadn't have learned to drop that seriousness, I don't think it would have been as enjoyable. No. The ride.
No, so, I agree.
Yeah. So there is something about not getting caught up in having to create conversations, not getting caught up in, oh my God, my calendar's empty, how do I fill it? Not having it come from that place, but just creating a quiet confidence in yourself that you've got this, that this is what it takes, that it's really simple. If it's starting to feel heavy in some way, you're overcomplicating it or in overthinking it.
Yeah.
So just stop and just check back in, and then just take the next step.
Perfect.
Should we leave it there?
I got nothing else. Well, I can't see who's on because for some reason my iPad isn't really telling me. So, hello, and I hope you've enjoyed it, guys. I hope you got a lot out of it. We would love to know where you're at and what you're hearing in this live. Is it, if there's any questions that we can help you with in order to get you to the next step in where you need to be in your business, tell us. And like I said before, for me, there is such thing as a stupid question, and that's one that doesn't get asked. And for me and Lisa, we create this group because we want to stop other coaches, especially new coaches who are really excited about being in the industry. We want to stop them from feeling like client creation is a mystery and it has to be overcomplicated. And you have to spend 10 grand on how to in order to get there. It's not the case. If you have any questions, just ask.
Yeah, we are here for you. We are here for you. Let us know. Yeah. And we'll see you next time.
We will. Take care, guys.